Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to look at a certain tank in particular, and that is because obviously update 10.0 is around. It's now released, and that has made a few tanks in particular a lot more stronger, and one of those tanks is the Caro 45T. Now, how? Because this tank hasn't even really been buffed. It hasn't been touched stat wise. It hasn't got less reload or anything like that. So what has this update changed for the Caro 45T? Now, in update 10.0, Wargaming released something that is amazing when it comes to auto loading tanks, and especially those with the reverse shell and auto reloaders. Now, basically what they have done is they've done, when you start the battle, your tank is already reloaded, it's already loaded. So where it comes to tanks like the Caro 45T, the Minotauro and things like that, with the reverse shell, that has made this tank amazing. Because that reverse shell is like a 20-odd second reload, you don't have to do that anymore. So sometimes if you're in a quick tank like the Caro and a small map, sometimes you might get into position very quickly, but you can't shoot because you've only reloaded that one shell. By the time you got into position, you've only loaded that one shell, and you can't use that shell, you can't shoot that shell, because otherwise you're going to wait 20-odd seconds again for it to reload. Whereas now everything is reloaded, everything is loaded, so you can get into position and fire your gun straight away. And that is a massive thing for something like a Caro 45T. So as you can see, 20.82 seconds on that first reload for that first shell. Now it's done. It's automatically done. You get into a game, you know, games where, especially maps where you can get into position and spot the team. Now you're able to do that, and you can actually get some damage done. Now, I do have to apologize if I do sound very echoey. The sound might be a little bit different. I'm recording somewhere different. Normally I'll record in my office or my car, and in fact I'm actually recording on a forklift. Yeah, I'm recording on a forklift. I'm not driving it, of course, because it's got like I'm inside a door and everything. It is a bit echoey, so I do apologize. This is literally the only time I have to record a video. So the DPM, of course, is very low on the tank at 1859. But now it has that reload at the start of the game. It doesn't affect the tank in any other way. So during the battle, doesn't affect it. It literally is at the very beginning of the game where it affects it most. And the biggest part, or the best part of the shell being reloaded, like this map, for example, Middlesbrough, we're going to have 4 or 20-odd seconds reload on the first shell, and then 7 or whatever seconds, or maybe even more than that, I believe, on that second shell. So it's going to almost be about 30 to 40 seconds before you can fire your first shell. I mean, you can fire the first shell if you really want to, but then you're going to be waiting 20-odd seconds for the reload. So we're going to get into game. I mean, here 43 seconds, we'd just right now be loading our first shell, which then we still can't shoot. But right now we're in the game within 30 seconds, and we have all 4 shells that we could have got underway. But unfortunately for this game in particular, we wasn't able to utilize that reload. But in other games, in other maps, in other games, you would have been able to utilize that reload at the start of the game, and that is a massive difference. It really is, because you can start doing damage from the get-go. You know, you don't have to wait a certain amount of time. You could do damage from the get-go. And if you're in a platoon or teaming up with another auto loader or anything like that, you're going to be able to kill these guys very quickly, whereas you wouldn't have been able to do that before. Now, again, it is a massive change for a tank, like a massive little change. That is all it is. It's a little change that has a massive impact. And what I mean by that is because it only affects the tank at the beginning of the game, it's not going to massively impact the tank over the course of the battle, just at the beginning. But that at the beginning means a lot to the tank. And if just with this tank, you've got tanks like the Minotauro as well, that yes, it has affected the Minotauro, but the Minotauro isn't as quick as the Caro. You know, it isn't as quick, so it's not going to get into battle and to where the enemies are very, very quickly, not like the Caro 45T, whereas this can get into like the start of the game 10-15 seconds and you could be in the position where you can start doing that damage. Now unfortunately I do get shot from behind. I do have quite a few tanks around me, but I do manage to kill this T-57. But I mean, there are certain maps, things like Mines. You know, Mines is a very small map that you'll be able to get damage very, very quickly. And again, here, this map here, it doesn't 100% go my way, but again, it's one of those maps where I like to get into position. I like to spot the team in this sort of B area in the middle here, so I can get into that. You know, 15 seconds gone, I would still be reloading that first shell. 20 seconds gone, and I'm there. I'm right there, and this is where you would spot heavies sort of, or TDs in the background, and already you'll be able to start doing damage. Now again, unfortunately, I do get the shot on the TVP, but unfortunately the enemy don't really go where I want to. But I just wanted to show it because that is what could happen. You can get into that kind of position and you can deal damage within sort of 20 seconds of the game. And again, it's a nice tank anyway, but just a little change like this has a big difference, you know, the big difference. And doing that damage early on, and that can change the outcome of the game, especially as there are so many auto loaders now out there. I mean, you can do damage. If you're in a platoon with someone, you're going to be able to do damage from the get-go, and you'll be able to destroy them very, very quickly. And that is the difference between winning and losing, and that could be the difference. That change from Wargaming, I mean, they haven't just done it on obviously auto loaders, they've done it on every tank. So every tank has already reloaded before they start the shell. But tanks like the T-62, the Object, you know, the Leopard, they're only 5-second reload anyway, so it makes no difference to them kind of tanks. And the same as heavies. You know, heavies have got sort of between 10 and 15 seconds reload. Makes no difference, because you're not going to get into the start of the game where you can deal damage in a heavy within 15 seconds. So it has really only impacted tanks that have the auto reloading system. Auto loaders, of course, tanks like the TVP, a very, very quick tank. It's got 4 shells and it is a long reload, but you're able to get there just fractions earlier than you would. I mean, with the TVP, it is an auto loader, not an auto reloader. But with the TVP, if you take about 15 seconds to get at the front of the battlefield, you're saving 5 seconds. So, you know, it can be better on tanks like the TVP and the auto loaders in general, but more so for the Caro, because it has the auto reloader and it is a quick tank, then it really impacts this tank the most. That is just what I think anyway. And of course, Droodles has made a video saying that this tank is now sort of a broken as well. If you want to go check that out, go and check him out. You might not agree. I don't think it's broken. Honestly, I don't think the change for this has made the tank broken, but I still think it is very, very strong. So I would love to know your guys' opinion. Have you got the Caro 45T? Personally, I haven't got it. I don't own it on my own account, so I don't unfortunately own it. But it is a tank I definitely want, and it is a tank that has been made much better. But because of the change, I'm not sitting there saying that this tank is absolutely broken now. It's a nice tank, and of course the change has made it even nicer, but I personally wouldn't go as far as saying that because of that the shells being reloaded straight away, I don't think that is enough for me to say this tank is now broken. It's a very, very good change, a change that I think that's a good change, that all the shells are reloaded. I think that is really good. You know, everyone has it, so it's not like one tank has it and the other hasn't. every tank has it, and everybody has it. So let me know your thoughts on the change. Do you prefer that the shells are reloaded beforehand, or do you prefer how it was, where you start the game and then it starts to reload? But you know, I like the change, and again, with a tank like the Caro, it is a fantastic change. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69. Again, sorry for the sound if it is a little bit echoey, but I promise tomorrow's video will be a little bit better. But for now, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.